Walk from a brightly lit space into a pitch-black room, and you'll experience a brief moment of total blindness. Your eyes are starved of information. But within a few seconds, shadows begin to form. Your rod cells activate, and your visual system adapts to the low-light environment. For people with a specific nutritional deficiency, though, that adjustment never happens. The lights go out, and they stay out. You've probably heard the childhood advice that eating carrots improves your eyesight. It sounds like an old wives' tale, but it's actually an observable, physical supply chain. Human vision requires a precise physical trigger. We can trace this trigger, a specific molecule, directly from the food on your plate, through your digestive tract, and straight into the center of your ocular cells. Human vision functions as a fragile system, dependent on an external chemical supply. Without it, our internal processes fall silent. The supply chain starts the moment you bite into a carrot. As it travels down into your stomach, your digestive system breaks it apart, releasing a compound called beta-carotene. This diagram shows what happens next in the intestines. A specific enzyme grabs the beta-carotene molecule and cleaves it exactly in half. This physical split creates two distinct molecules of vitamin A, medically known as retinol. Because retinol is a fat-soluble molecule, it gets packed into microscopic fat droplets called micelles. These tiny packages pass smoothly through the intestinal walls and are absorbed into the bloodstream. The blood carries this retinol directly to the liver. There, it is converted into a storage format called retinol palmitate, where it is tucked away inside the liver cells until the body sends a signal that it's needed. The liver acts as a biological battery for your eyes. By banking these molecules, it guarantees a continuous chemical stream reaches your vision system, even if you go days or weeks without eating foods rich in vitamin A. When that stored vitamin A is called upon, a special carrier protein transports it out of the liver and delivers it to the back of the eye, specifically into the retina, where millions of highly sensitive rod cells are waiting. Look closely at this diagram of a single rod cell. Inside sits a receptor protein called rhodopsin. Notice how it is holding on to a metabolized, physically bent variation of the vitamin A molecule. This is the exact mechanical moment of vision. When a single photon of light enters your eye, it strikes this bent molecule and forces it to instantly snap into a perfectly straight line. That sudden shapeshift acts like a tripwire. The straightened molecule pushes against adjacent proteins, triggering a chemical cascade that ultimately slams shut nearby sodium channels in the cell membrane. Blocking that sodium creates a sharp electrical pulse. That pulse shoots out of the rod cell, travels down the optic nerve, and registers in your brain as a flash of light. Vitamin A is the physical switch that makes this entire reaction possible. Without it, waiting there to catch a photon, incoming light hits a dead end, and your brain receives zero electrical signal. The visual system begins to collapse when dietary intake drops for too long. The liver's vault eventually empties, and the concentration of vitamin A in your blood falls below a critical 25 micrograms per deciliter. This brings us back to that dark room. Night blindness happens because the body cannot replace the vitamin A in those rod cells. The rhodopsin receptors sit empty, rendering them blind to low-light environments. Left untreated, this deficiency progresses into a severe condition called keratomalacia. The cornea, the clear protective layer over the eye, softens, loses its structural integrity, and begins to literally melt down. The failure of electrical signaling eventually gives way to a total collapse of the eye's physical architecture. But the breakdown doesn't stop at the optic nerve. Vitamin A is required for stem cell differentiation and tissue repair throughout the entire human body. Here is a cross-section of failing skin tissue. Without vitamin A, the skin cannot properly renew its top layer. This leads to phrenoderma, a condition where the skin becomes dry and covered in jagged, keratinized scales, resembling the rough exterior of a toad. Internally, the body also loses a crucial line of antioxidant protection. Cellular damage from free radicals accelerates, significantly increasing the risk of cardiovascular events like heart attacks. From the rapid regeneration of our skin cells, to the health of our cardiovascular system, to the structural integrity of our corneas, our bodily functions are directly tied to the food chain. Vitamin A reveals an extraordinary biological truth. We have to physically consume pieces of the external world simply to have the ability to perceive it.